A new season of Love is Blind is upon us. It's the 7th US season already. Wow, time flies when you're single and lonely.
And if we like the same girl, back off, she's mine.
Love is Blind is a failed social experiment, and in this video, we're gonna explore why.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
We're gonna look at why the couples that stayed together worked out, and why the 3 major flaws of the show lead to a super low success rate. We're also gonna compare the differences between Love is Blind in other countries, and why this one country is not a failed social experiment and has a 100% success rate, and why this other country has 8 times the failure rate compared to the US. So keep watching and find out if this is your home country that's got the US beat. If you don't know already, Love is Blind is a dating show where contestants stay in these pods and get to know each other through deep conversations without ever seeing each other physically. And in order to match, the man must propose to the woman sight unseen.
Will you marry me?
After she accepts his proposal,
I would be honored to marry you.
they have a TV-worthy moment of IRL reveals. Then they must spend a few weeks living together in an apartment, and if they get along in that apartment, they then go visit each other's families. And at the end of this show, they have to go through with a full wedding, and both couples have the option to say yes I do or run away from the altar. Basically, it's a compression of a super fast falling in love and get married process. When compared to other TV shows, Love is Blind actually ties for 4th place when you just look at these particular factors. Couples that hooked up, couples that got married, couples that stayed together, and couples that had kids. If you look at all these 4 factors, it's actually no better than Love Island UK.
What?
But to be fair, let's take a closer look. 90 Day Fiancé. Alright, these couples need their green cards, okay? And the Americans are super desperate and super needy for love. These people stay together with people that hate them.
And I got you a cute toothbrush. Just your breath is not, pretty.
The people on this toxic show put up with all sorts of abuse that no person should ever put up with.
No man in the world can accept that. I want my sex tonight. If you don't give me my sex tonight, I will call the immigration. I will get you deported.
I smell and I peed on him.
Bro, this makes for great TV, but none of these relationships look healthy. Married at First Sight has the same premise: losers marrying desperate people.
You are not God's gift to humanity, so stop looking down on everyone. I don't even know where you get the confidence to do so.
So, I don't think these 2 shows count. Let's take out the super desperate shows. Ultimatum is a show where existing couples go through a process, and at the end of the show, they decide if they want to stay together.
I think being here will allow us to have clarity as to whether or not marriage is the right thing for us right now.
Or move on.
See who's the problem? I'm tired of giving my See who's the problem?
I don't think this counts either. The couples are already coupled up, so let's take that out. We're gonna look at only shows where strangers meet up and start new relationships. If we go by this criteria, Love Island UK and Love is Blind US is tied for 4th place. So I guess you could say Love is Blind is the most successful show in the US as far as relationships go. Okay, fine, maybe I'm wrong, but before I count this as a failed experiment, let's investigate a little bit more. If I'm wrong, what makes Love is Blind successful? After reviewing all 7 seasons, here's my take. Success factor number 1, the couples that worked out are either physically attracted to each other right away when they first reveal, or the man has already mentally been ready to be adaptable to how the woman looks.
She's within a 2-mile radius from me. That booty is not safe.
Oh, scary.
Now, you can also say this in reverse. Some of the women are mentally already adapted as well, but this affects more men than women. And here are some examples of number 1, couples who were clearly already passing each other's minimum physical requirement bars. Really quickly, MPR, minimum physical requirement. It's the minimum physical attributes that you're willing to accept if that other person has all the other qualities that you're looking for in a partner. Amber Pike and Matt Barnett. I did not like either of these people. They came across as condescending to the rest of the cast, and they both have their issues in their relationship. But it was very clear that they were attracted to each other at first sight.
Victory!
Oh gosh. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Oh god. Hello.
Hi.
Holy shit. Hello.
Hi. Hi.
Daddy, chill.
Lauren and Cameron Hamilton, one of my favorite couples. They were obviously mutually attracted to each other, but if you listen to their relationship talk, both partners were already ready to look beyond the physical. They were ready to look into who that person really is.
I've fallen in love with her without ever having seen her. Part of me does think, are you being rash? But it feels so right.
It feels like I'm jumping out of a plane.
If we get married, then, you know, that's it for me.
Yeah, me too.
Nice.
Here are some examples of number 2. Couples where the man has mentally adapted to be ready to however a woman looks. Alexa and Brennan. I like both of these people. I thought Alexa was a bit spoiled. Her dad was super rich and looked down on Brennan, which I didn't like. But Brennan won them over with his character.
I mean, she speaks very highly of you, so I'm going by her judgment. I hope that she's making a good decision, you're making a good decision, and you guys live the best lives you can.
And it was obvious from the beginning that he was a good guy and he wasn't after a particular look. Rather, he was ready to fall in love with the person.
I can promise you 100%, just like I want to promise her. I'll work every day, I'll work my ass off to give her the best life that she deserves.
Tiffany Pennywell and Brett Brown. I thought, just my personal opinion, Brett is super good looking. Tiffany is cute too, but they obviously built a relationship based on shared values, and you can hear that in the conversation from the pods.
Honestly, coming into this experience, I want a partner. I want an equal. Like, I do want to have a family one day. I'm here for a reason. I'm here for a purpose.
It's very clear to me that he doesn't care how the woman looks as long as she embodied the qualities he's looking for. Now, on the other hand, if the guy is not attracted to the woman, at the reveal, okay, you can tell by their micro expressions, and he's not mentally able to adapt to that, which is 99% of the time, what this means is that the partner is not hitting that NPR bar. And this fails whether it's a man or a woman who's inflexible. Jessica and Mark. I forgot if this was actually in the show, but didn't Jessica at some point say that Mark looked like a lemur? Shake and DP. Shake is a total narcissist who wasn't attracted to DP, but DP still was cool, showed him grace, and put up with him, hoping he'd change. Surprise, surprise, he didn't.
Shake doesn't understand how Love is Blind has to work here. The whole point is about finding out who we are as people, not can you carry me?
Nancy and Bartice. Bartice is such a clown for putting Nancy through that heartbreak. It was very clear from the beginning that he wasn't into her physically, and he should have never put her through that.
I'm literally having feelings for multiple women right now.
What? Chelsea and Jimmy. Oh god. Both of these people had major problems beyond looks. Chelsea should not have said that she looked like Megan Fox, but to Jimmy's credit, I feel like he at least tried to look past her looks. Yet, Chelsea couldn't get over her insecurities.
Megan Fox? You just saying you look like Megan Fox? Can we get married?
Buddy. Got him! He needs some milk!
Men learn to love the women they're attracted to. Women learn to become attracted to the man they fall in love with. This is a quote by Woody Allen, and this quote is very true on this show. Why? Because love is not blind. Love doesn't have to be only physical, but it cannot be ignorant of that fact. Success factor number 2 for the show. There is none. Okay, well, let's look at why it's a failure then, shall we?
Okay.
Failure factor number 2. So this show is now at season 7 a magnet for clout chasers and people that have obvious emotional problems who are not ready to date, in my opinion. Kyle and Shayna. One look at Shayna's Instagram, you can tell that she's there to raise her social status. After the show, she married some millionaire. Irina and Zach. Zach was abused emotionally on Love is Blind. I thought she was a total B to him. After the show, he even said that she went on the show to get famous. Luckily, once he was back in Seattle, Zach actually hooked up with Bliss and he told her that he made the wrong choice. Last I checked, they're still together today. Then you have this guy, Trevor, who went on the show while he had a girlfriend. Wild. These people are so shameless that they'll go back to the reunion just to get some clout.
Nah, say it with your chest. Don't get quiet now. Don't get quiet now.
I had a whole thing planned to say. I don't know.
Failure factor number 3 is a secret country we talked about, Brazil. Brazil has the highest divorce rates, 10 matches and 8 divorces. That's an 80% failure rate. Clearly, Latin flavor, hot and spicy, doesn't translate to long-term relationships. What you have are broken families, divorces, and it's clearly not working in Brazilian culture. This is just 3 seasons, guys. 8 divorces in 3 seasons. That is insane. But there is some good news. Here's how the show actually could work. In Love is Blind Japan gives us something to think about. This show was so grounded, the conversations were so real that it led to 2 marriages, 0 divorces, and 2 babies on the way. This is a 100% success rate. Why does Japan work so well when others don't? Well, psychologists have noted that successful relationships depend on these 3 things. 1, cultural norms. Japan is a very homogeneous society. People tend to be more like each other than a very big diversity like in the States where it's a melting pot.
Because everybody in America is racist and everybody in China is Chinese.
The second factor is you have to discuss in the pods and then watch in real life how the partner responds to stress. This is how they deal with difficult situations. And then the third aspect is you want to talk about and then watch how they respond to opportunities. The shift in physical attraction in couples actually happen in studies as people get older. It means that they have less sex and it's not as important. And they're still together even as they get old and perhaps don't find each other physically as attractive. I'll get old, you'll get old, everybody's gonna get old. Now, to be fair, Asians are very practical, okay? When we date, we think about practical things like raising kids, education, finances. Less fantasy, more pragmatic, sure. There's a saying in Chinese culture, which is treat old people well because someday you'll be old too, which is very different than the American kind of ageism that if you're old, you're an old fart, you're worthless.
You're an old fart. Yeah, I know, man. I'm an old guy. And you're an old fart. I know you would know about that. What? Being old.
An honorable mention for number 2 place in terms of success of Love is Blind is Sweden. If you watch the Sweden episodes, these conversations are a lot more mature, less cloud chasing, and I thought that people were talking about things that mattered a lot more. Their priorities were more aligned with long-term views rather than cloud chasing.
Jag vill verkligen fortsätta äventyret med dig.
Jag står framför väggen.
However, if you look at the viewership, US is still number 1. Probably because they have all these problem people on the show. It's fun to watch, right? But it sucks for real relationships. The success rate sucks. The experiment is a failed experiment. It's not working. You got 7 seasons and a couple of couples and most of them are broken up. So how would you create a show where you have practical outcomes and results, but you still get high ratings and keep the lights on and make money? Well, here's how I propose they improve the next season of Love is Blind. Number 1, have all the contestants fill out a minimum physical requirement worksheet. 2, set a minimum physical requirement for the contestants on the show based on their worksheets. If their worksheets are reasonable, right? If they're like going way beyond their league, of course not. But you take the average and basically you set a minimum NPR. Why? Because we all have an unconscious NPR that we're willing to accept. Anything less and we feel cheated. Men are biologically hardwired to have a more concrete NPR. That's really hard to change. I would say for 90% to 95% of men. 3, here's the fun part. You throw in a few grenades.
At one particular point, I remember I was in the jacuzzi and I finally put some water on my face. I was like, we got grenades.
No, not those grenades from the Jersey Shore. I'm talking about super hotties. 2 guys and 3 girls.
I love the tattoos.
Yeah, tattoos.
I have this one on my back. It's not the best. Can y'all see it?
My fault.
What language is that?
I don't know.
This is like a game of Minesweeper. These grenades are there on purpose, deliberately chosen to be super hot with questionable lifestyles and personalities that don't want relationships.
We can't trust anyone anymore. It's created a lot of animosity in the air. Animosity! That was a new word added to the dictionary of Chloe.
And what you do is you present these guys and girls at the first in-person gathering, and then you give both the guys and girls a chance to switch up without a penalty. You know, you say, hey guys, we understand Love is Blind, but here's an opportunity to switch up if you want, and we'll continue to film you and film the show. Pretty interesting, huh? What this will prove to the viewers is that you're running 2 concurrent experiments. On one hand, you allow the dumped partners to find new people who they find physically attractive. Those are the train wrecks. Then you have the partners who want to find people that are committed and really really wanting to get to know them and start a relationships. The hot ones will make for great TV and get the viewings because they're full of superficial bombs who will switch up and not really committed to the process. And then you have the rest of them, you give them a chance to pick the right partners from the existing cast of the show. Behavior never lies. Words are often used to paint beautiful lies every day. And now you have the drama of the superficial people and then the ones who are looking for real commitment. It'll be fun to watch, but also you'll be able to see how the committed couples actually work out. I doubt they will do this next season. I think they're sticking to the pods. And if they do that, I will continue to say that looks do matter, but looks is not the only thing that matters. The reality is that biologically, men value physical beauty and upkeep more than women. Biologically, women value emotional stability, maturity, and a healthy display of emotions over the period of time. This is biologically hardwired. It's not our fault. And going against this, in my opinion, is stupid. Love is not blind, but love is not all looks either. What we can do as human beings is to lower the barrier to entry so that men can learn to not over focus on beauty and get to know the women who are a little bit less cute than what they would normally date. And for the women, we want to give them clean, well-groomed men who are emotionally stable and ready to settle down. This allows for an even playing field for the initial reveals. Letting couples who obviously don't meet each other's NPR continue to date, it might be good for TV, but this is like emotional abuse. They're not attracted. You're asking the guy to act like he is. It's not fun to watch. I'd rather watch like Bartiz, for example, hook up with a hot girl and realize how messed up she is. I think if you gave us that, Love is Blind US, that it would be a lot more fun to watch and you'll get a lot more viewership. Anyway, those are my opinions. What are your thoughts? Tell me in the comments below. And if you want to learn more social skills, check out this video. Enjoy.